Foot in the Door follows creatives on their journey in their industry. From bright leaps forwards to the frequent steps backwards, these stories are underpinned by the music which has guided our guests on their career path so far. Join me and my guests on Melodic Distraction every fourth Sunday of the month to get a behind-the-scenes insight into their lives. Follow in the footsteps of the people who are already doing it with Foot in the Door. Welcome back to the second episode of Foot in the Door with me, Jobi. Today I'm joined by Danny Rumbelow, an assistant director on film sets and music videos. It has been said that first assistant directors are the true heroes behind any film set, from their communication between the director and the crew to their impeccable organisation skills, ensuring that everything at the shoot happens in the right place at the right time. It seems the life of an AD can be quite a stressful one. Well, to find out firsthand what it takes to be an assistant director and why you might want to try this yourself, I welcome co-founder of Blend Films and first assistant director on music videos and film sets, Danny Rumbelow. Danny, welcome to Foot in the Door.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Dude, good to be here, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you for the invite up in Liverpool.
No, thanks.
Sunny
for
Liverpool,
me.
at last.
Yeah.
It's, looking lovely out here, man. It's really nice to be here.
How was your weekend been so far? It's
Weekend's
a bank holiday
been
weekend tonight.
Bank holiday weekend. No big party, man. So Sophie, my girlfriend, in the background.
Nice.
We just went on a lovely little camping trip, mate. We went to the Peak Districts.
Oh, lovely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
wholesome ones.
You know what I mean? Get away from the hustle and bustle, man. Just sit there, have a cup of hot chocolate, watch the sun go down.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what it's about.
Dude, that's what life's about, man.
So you're cutting up cheese in a field, that sort of thing.
Kind of, you gotta have the luxuries as well, man. You gotta have the Parmesan cheese, the white wine, the orzo, the tomatoes.
Okay.
You can't scrap about, man. You know, we're not drinking pot noodles out here.
Living the life of luxury in the peaks.
In the Peak Districts, watching the sun go down. There's nothing better. Although, you do get a bit sketchy, climbing bits, and you think about it, you're like, fucking hell, what happens if, I break a leg or something?
Well, you made it.
But we made it, and we're here, and we're in Melodic Distraction. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Legend.
well, during the show, we'll hear what life is like behind the lens and what it takes to be a successful assistant director, would you say, in a very tough industry?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there, man.
Yeah,
we're getting there. We're trying.
And you've handpicked some tunes as well that are going to soundtrack your life or your journey in your career.
Yeah. Some. To be honest, that was one of the hardest bits about this, was like trying to whittle down my whole sort of library and then put like 5 or 6 tunes that I kind of feel a little bit. It's a tough thing. We all have loads of different, like, if somebody says, "Oh, what's your favorite film?" or "Oh, what's your favorite track?" You're like, "Dude, I don't know." Like, there's just so much in it. So yeah, I had to get a bit brutal with myself and just go, right, I'm going to send that to him. That's that.
Well, you did a good job.
Good, man. I appreciate that.
But first up, before we play any of the music, I guess my generic spiel that I was wittering on about at the start, about what an assistant director does, probably doesn't provide a true reflection of the role.
For sure.
And I'm sure you could probably break it down a bit more eloquently. So could you define what you do?
Well, it's a funny one, because the sort of the name makes you kind of sound like you're an assistant, and you're sort of, you meet a lot of people and like, "Oh, are you so-and-so's assistant?" And you're like...
You're grabbing a teas and coffee for the big man.
Yeah, and you're like, well, like, the name almost doesn't give it justification, but hey, it's is what it is. Like, we... Basically, what we do is we work with the producer, the director, the director of photography, who's the cameraman, the guy who actually pushes the button and films, and then other technical aspects and technical roles like the gaffer. So the gaffer is like not like the big huncho, the big boss, but it's a weird name. We call the gaffer. So the gaffer is like the guy who runs all the lighting. Right. So they are the ones who, they have their whole team of 5 or 6, or it can be like 12. It depends on the size of the job. They got their team, and we're part of something called we are HOD. So we are heads of departments. So director is he's the director. Producer, he has production manager, production assistant, production coordinators. Right. I've got my second assistant directors, third assistant directors, my lovely running team, like loads of people who and we all kind of collaborate together to try and make this one thing come to life, this vision of this director's come to life. So technically we are assisting the director by, when we are kind of on set, we then sort of are all eyes and ears in terms of every single aspect. So dude, it can be it can be like wardrobe, it can be hair and makeup, it can be how long things are going to take for the trucks to arrive, how long a lighting setup is going to be, and we have to be totally invested and knowledgeable in terms of every single setup, what's happening, how long that's going to take,
Right.
how we're going to execute it, what we're going to use to execute it, and where we're going to go after that. Once we've done that shot, what's next? So
you're a big name on set.
I mean, you should really kind of know what everyone else does, and you should be like
on it.
on it. And I mean, the thing is just like just working and doing it loads and loads of times, and like running and doing like all the little jobs on my way, to where I want to be or whatever. And then you see all these little aspects and then you gain a bit of knowledge in terms of what people do and how that can affect your schedule, because at the end of the day it's all to do with the schedule.
So
if
you're super organized in your job.
I would say I'm relatively organized in my job. Outside of my world, outside of job, dude, I am not organized at all. I mean, maybe it's an understatement, but listen, I just don't like. At work, that's work, and then outside of work, we're like, you know what, man? Like, who cares about schedule? Who cares about this? Like, we want to do things that aren't so by the book and the street. So
good.
It's a kind of on and off situation,
man.
which is good in some aspects, I guess. But and then also, people are like, oh, like, why are you so unorganized? You're like, you do this job, and you're like, bro, like, I do that for a living. Like, I don't, you're not going to go home and do the same thing all the time. So
as a first assistant director, on film sets, music videos, adverts.
Yeah.
Are you self-employed or like do you get booked by the job?
So
how does it work?
So firstly, I don't do film sets.
Okay.
I left that a long time ago.
Right.
So I just do like commercials and music videos.
Right.
So short form media.
Right.
So super short. I mean, our turnover is like, maybe we'll do 3 weeks prep. We'll shoot for like a week, 2 days, 3 days, 1 day. Really depends on the project size. But yeah, we are totally, most of us are basically sort of self-employed. Maybe there's a few people within the production companies who are in the production companies and are employed by the production companies. But a lot of us are self-employed. So we are kind of, we work for ourselves. We have our own schedules. We got to do our own fucking taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah, man.
We got to hustle. We got to make a name for ourselves. And it's a tough cookie to crack into. And then once it's a weird thing, because after, a couple of goes or a couple of years at it, the ball does start to roll. It does start to kind of like the chess pieces start to move, and you start seeing a bit of a kind of a future. You start getting you just get like,
right.
You get a taste for it, and then it sort of gives back to you as well.
I want to talk about your future in a little bit, but
yeah.
I want to know why you picked this career and how you managed to get from it being something you wanted to do to now materializing.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think, dude, I when I started liking film, I mean, I've always been into like, cinema and watching movies, and like, weirdly enough, I kind of like really liked watching commercials on TV, which is really kind of like, dude, it could be the Cadbury's, the eyebrows, the simplicity, the gorilla, like, it can be, it just the simplicity of it, and you're just hooked, and you're like, oh man, that's cool, and just stuff like that. And also I just think like, let's go into like Lloyd's TSB ones, those huge, like, that are just kind of like, just awfully epic, and you're like, what the hell?
Clear something up for me quick.
Yeah.
They're not real horses, are they?
Dude, they're fucking real horses, man.
No.
They're all real horses, man.
All of them?
I don't know. I'm going to send it out to the people out there, but I know a lot of people who worked on those, and it looked, and like, they were like, yeah, we had loads of real horses.
Really?
And they like fence them off, and then you have like a camera on like, well, we use a thing called a Russian arm, but we now call it the Ukrainian arm, which is like camera on the on like a big 4x4.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on the horse.
No, and it's like following, and it's wild, man. So that's like, that's the stuff.
You've been inspired by some of the greats.
So I mean, dude, like that's technically it's an insane feat of, like the whole setup and like the technical aspect of like achieving something like that is actually so ridiculous. And then you're like, then you watch it and it's only 30 seconds. And and you're like, whoa, like that is just ridiculous. How many people it took to make that for us to just go, oh, cool, that's just about, you're a girl riding into her future and trying to get a new, ISA or whatever. And you're like, okay, brilliant, whatever. If you're like somebody, I don't give a shit. But
it's big industry.
But for me, I'm like, that's wicked.
Yeah, man.
But no, it's nice. I mean, sorry, I've kind of forgotten what the question is. I went on a tangent.
I think you hit the nail on the head. You've answered. I think we should play the first tune here.
Bro, yeah.
Gwen McGrae.
Yeah. Great artist. She's a massive vocalist. Some great tunes. I'm sort of in awe and kind of inspired in sort of Motown, soul, funk, that kind of era. Like you'll hear a few of the other tracks. And yeah, just this is one of her tunes that's not massively, well, I mean, it is pretty famous, but it's not commercialized as much, and I love it. It's just so good.
Gwen McGrae, 90% of me is you.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Great tune, Gwen McGrae.
What a banger!
I know. Like that easing us in there, I feel.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. I feel like like I said, it was tough picking these tracks, mate.
You've done a good job. I've listened to them on repeat since you sent them.
They're good, man. They're good. They stick. That was gonna stick with you. You'll be in the toilet thinking 90%
in the toilet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, we touched on it just before about you don't work on film sets.
Yep.
Music videos and advertisements is your jam.
That is it. Yeah.
And you've worked with some big household names. Stormzy, Arlo Parks. These are big artists.
Yeah, really. Yeah, just they are like they are big
they're
artists.
Massive.
Yeah, they are.
What's it like working with such famous and influential artists in the modern?
Some are great. Mm-hmm. Some are really cool. Some you're like, wow. Like Arlo Parks, man. Like she is. I've only done one thing with her, and the guys who I worked with, they just recently did a video with her, and it just looks wild, mate. And again, just how massive she is and how big she's gotten. She is just the cutest, calmest, most sort of just like serene and like gentle, but also powerful woman. Because she's a presence, and when she talks to you, you're like, whoa, I don't know, there's something about her.
She's a poet, like the way she speaks.
100%. I mean, you get a lot of, and it really depends, because some artists you think, oh man, that guy's going to be wicked, and then they're not, and then you're like, oh, that's really kind of, I don't know. People just have bad days as well. Like they're humans as well. Maybe they wake up and like, I've had like some artists have like really bad like hay fever or something like that, and then they're like, I can't, like my eyes are, like what am I meant to do? And you're like, fuck man, let's get this guy some like Periton. Let's get some Periton quick, like on set. Like we need to send somebody, So it really depends on their mood, and then also it's the people around them. Like you get some artists who their managers will be like, okay, we don't want anyone looking at them. We don't want anyone having conversation with them. And then the minute they're on set, that guy is like talking to everyone or whatever and being really like, really communicative and stuff, and they're like, having fun. And then you're like, you're just, it's the team that are kind of making you sound like you're somebody,
Madonna,
but you're not. Like, it's them just trying to uphold something for their label,
right?
If that makes sense.
You're talking about these people as individuals, which is obviously we observe from the outer spheres of society, celebrities as these like amazing, heroic people that we look up to, but at the end of the day, they are individuals. They are people,
and they have their own. They have their own insecurities. They have their own issues, and also,
day to day,
exactly
changes. But then you're working on big scale advertisements for the likes of Sky.
Right.
That must be completely different to work on a music video with an individual.
Way different.
What's the difference there?
So when you work with a label, and so music video world, right? Labels, artist, production. That's kind of it, right?
Right.
And then when you're working with your adverts, you've got the production company, you've got the client who is in this regards. Let's say, okay, maybe not Sky, because Sky are their own like agency, but if you're looking like a brand, like I don't know, let's just say a phone brand, okay?
Right.
You have the phone brand, and then you have the creative agency who also have like, they're the ones who create the idea in the world.
Yeah.
And they do like this 360.
And they outsource by it,
Exactly. And they create like like a marketing scheme for them, and then you have to, so it all has to be measured. So when you're shooting a commercial, dude, like one shot can take, hours, because if something's out of line of brand and out of line of image of that brand and how that's going to look, maybe somebody's wearing something that is like off brand or off color, or they didn't see something, it's all so measured and everything has to be by the book, which is which in some regards I quite like that kind of technicality of it being really precise,
right,
really quite kind of like measured, and that everything has been thought out and everything has like a game plan. It doesn't always work out like that, but on some of the bigger projects it kind of does. And I don't know, something about that I think's awesome, and I love that. And it can be annoying, it can be some things can take a long time,
tedious,
and as an AD you're like, okay, well I've got a schedule and this and that, but dude, at the end of the day, man, like it is what it is. Like they have to do what they need to do, and then you have to do what they, and at the end they're the client, man, so
they're paying the bills.
But music videos, we kind of get away with doing whatever you want, mate. You are in this free world of creativity. You can create, as long, like a director will make a pitch and a director will come up with this world, the concept. And then when you're filming it, maybe something looks great over here. Let's just shoot it.
Right.
That looks cool. Oh, that looks cool.
Quite a lot of spontaneity potentially.
It can be. Yeah. Can be. It really depends on the director as well. It really depends on their vision and kind of what our set looks like, because sometimes you're only shooting one thing and you can only adapt it a little bit. But if you have like a big scene with loads of crowd and there's lots of like lights and everything's going off, and you're like, okay, I want to pick up these guys dancing, okay, I want to pick up these guys moving, like, you have some directors who are like, okay, let's go
yeah.
And I love that as well. So really it's like it really depends on the job. It depends on the personalities in the job and the artist and the creative. So
you got a standout advert, music video that you...
Man, like, hold on. So I actually kind of wrote a few down. So there was basically like, there's a couple of cool things I did with Guide Dogs Trust, which is in the advert world, right? But it was like my first time working with dogs. And I was like, okay, because I've been told, I've worked with dogs before, and but like, this was the most wholesome thing I've ever been into my whole life, man. Right. So we went into this guy's house.
You say that very, like, I trust that you mean that when you say that. You're
like,
welling up here.
Dude, like, mate. So we went into this guy's house. The whole concept was like, we had to, so he has his guide dog, and he was basically, we're reenacting his first ever time he got the guide dog. And this is a public person. He's not an actor. This is like somebody, regular dude who's just been picked from Guide Dog Trust, to play this thing. He said, yeah. And it hit him so hard, man.
No way.
Dude, he was like, when we shot this scene of like the first time he ever meets the dog, dude, he started crying and we had to like stop. And I remember just being like, whoa, like that is like, I'm real, man. When you're like, the whole crew was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And like also so sad. And it's just all in one. You're like, so that was cool.
That's a great story.
And dude, I did something with an artist called George recently, which actually just got into Tribeca, which is called Tribeca X, which is really so well done, crew, if anyone's watching. Well done to everyone. I mean, this was a gallant effort from everyone, because we had 2 days to shoot 3 separate videos that were all conjoined together. The whole video is basically period, and it's like just insane. It was just like, I remember we shot this scene in a house, and everyone's wearing these like late 70s. I'm sorry if I'm getting the time frame wrong, but everyone looked immaculate. Cool. The casting was just so, and when I was in this room shooting this, and I just remember thinking, okay, this is special. I don't usually do something that I think this is super special. Wow. And then little cute jobs like, I get like with Blend, like we had a job the other day with the Matildas, who are the Australian football girls who, they all play, some of them play for Arsenal, one plays for West Ham.
Nice.
And those ones are amazing, because they're just, footballers a good, they're good fun. They know how to. Some of them, if you get the right, get them on a right day, they're super charismatic and they love what they do. They love having a kick about, and it's just like it was a sunny day, and those days are the ones, especially with a small crew and you all know each other, and it's like
it must be so cool meeting all these like interesting, diverse range of people on set. And the people you work with as well behind the scenes, like yourself. You must meet so many interesting people who are doing things different outside of work.
Big time. I mean, it's just like everyone is doing something. You mentioned Toby Leary, who's doing the trenches thing, and like, dude, I've worked with him countless times and absolutely love the guy. And he's also building this outside of work, and it's just, I think,
shout out Trenches podcast.
Yeah, shout out, man. Yeah, big time. And yeah, I think we're all, it's nice to. The reason why it doesn't ever get old, I think, is because you were constantly doing something new, which is why I left the film world. I think if you're somebody who likes to do those big long sets and loves the magic of movie, and it truly is a spectacle. When you're there, you're like, whoa, this is just unbelievable. But I just felt like, I felt like I need to keep moving. I need to do something new. Otherwise, I get stagnant. But that's my personality. That's just me. Some people find what I do super stressful and might actually just like find it really stress inducing and not like the fact that they don't know, okay, they're not going to work in the next 2 weeks or they don't know when the next job's coming. Or
that's the battle. That's the battle that you have to go through.
It is a battle. And
speaking of battle, what are we playing next?
Flip it.
What a banger, that one.
Jobi on the mix.
Yeah,
Come on. I asked him to wheel it, but he said no. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, apologies. I'm not as fun as Danny. Why'd you pick that one? Wookie?
Dude, garage is just like, I love garage, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, just, I don't know, mate, being from London, like, grew up listening to a lot of like funky house, and then going into like, I don't know, mate. It's, for me, that tune,
nostalgic.
It's nostalgic. I remember, like, at uni, I'd listen to it. Like, it just gets me through. Wookie in general, just like, it's just, all of his tunes are just power. Right, like, they just make you feel good. Any vibe. If you're feeling down, put Wookie on. Let's go.
Love that, bro. I love that. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
So we touched on some big names you've worked with. As someone who wants to get to a position you're in, do you measure the success on the caliber of individuals you work with? So let's talk, you've mentioned Arlo Parks, let's say. Do you measure success on working with a famous person?
It's not a measure of success, no. But what it does do is it allows you to basically grow your own personal knowledge in terms of how to manage a film set with someone of that caliber. So the more times you do it, the more you grow and the more desensitized you become to working with people like that. And the more desensitized you become, I think the better at your job you can be at managing the set and not really worrying about that the artist or whatever, and you're worrying about how to make the job happen. So it's not necessarily, it's definitely not a measure of success at all. But what it is definitely, I think it's very important for you to work in that, in that world, so that you learn from mistakes you make as well. Like, dude, I've made mistakes at calling people too late. When I mean calling people, you create like, schedule, and you have people coming at X and Y, or you've done things the wrong way, or maybe I've I don't know. It really. I've learned a lot of lessons through making mistakes via working with these people to then kind of grow my
No, I get you. So when you're saying growing, is that like, are you building a portfolio? Because as a self-employed individual, you need to be able to show, look, I've managed certain situations, I've worked with big names, this is what I can do. So is it to say to someone, look, aim for those sort of bigger jobs because they look better on paper to a potential employer, to a potential job?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think if having those names is good in general. It just means you're able to, because the bigger the name means the bigger the production.
Right.
So, and it kind of shows that you can kind of, you can just manage those sets, like I said. And I think for anyone trying to just like grow their portfolio and grow their CV, it's super important to have that, because it allows people to go, oh, you know what, that dude's done that. Like, maybe I will bring them on, or she's worked with X and Y. That sounds cool. They're comfortable doing that, and comfortable being in quite an uncomfortable situation is when you have, their team, and they're around you, and and you feel it's pressure. It's high pressure. Right. So the more times you're able to do that, the more you're able to just work with the pressure and grow,
I like that.
But I think in terms of, when I mean growth as an AD or in production, it's just doing more and building more, and that's it, really.
That's sweet to hear. And growing as an individual at your role rather than growing within the industry, I think is also important to note. Like the skills that you acquire on a film set, on a music video set, on an ad set, they're transferable not just in the film industry. Like you can take those, high pressure environment, timekeeping, all that stuff. Yeah,
I've thought about that. I've thought about what jobs I can do anywhere else, and you start thinking, but like, never. It's not as clear as what I do. When you find something, you think,
you're doing what you love, bro.
Yeah, like I do, man. I do really, really love working with crew and working with productions and artists and stuff, and label, and and agencies, and it's a hectic world, but when you sort of, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not fucking saving lives. Mm-hmm. Like we're not in a in a theatre doing an operation on someone. We're not doing. So when you kind of wrap your head around that, and you do X amount of jobs that makes you feel like, like at the end of the day, we're going to wake up tomorrow and it's not going to be, then you start feeling a bit more happy about going into your role and into your job, and thinking, what is what it is. Let's just keep going and keep pushing. So
nice motivation there.
Yeah.
Next tune. This is a big one. Marvin Gaye, I Want You. Why'd you pick such a powerful song? I love Marvin Gaye, man.
Yeah. Sort of didn't want to pick maybe some I don't know. I just thought maybe people listen to Inner City Blues a bit too much. Right. I don't know. Maybe that would have been a bit too slow. So I thought this tune is a tune I love, and every time I play it, I just it just brings me joy.
And what a good day for it.
Exactly, man.
You're now 27. But back in 2019, you started up your own production company.
Yes.
Blend Films.
Yes.
With your friend Liam Wallace-Cook.
Yes, my broski.
Your broski.
My broski, man. Yeah.
Why did you start up that?
Dude, well, me and Liam and I know each other since uni.
Right.
We met back when I used to smoke roll-ups. We were having a roll-up outside of uni, and we're like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Yeah. Met and then hit it off. Loved music, loved mixing, and then we just started working with each other. And I think, dude, when we started, it was kind of like a collaborative world where we could just do kind of creative things, and it's just like more of like a like a creative name, and we just work under Blend, and that was that was it. And then over time, with the help of Liam being a very good producer, he's in the industry as a producer. And just like, our kind of collaborative efforts between him producing and then us doing like end-to-end production. So we'd like do the, help with like the creative, and then we basically do all the scheduling, and then we do the pre-production, and then on set, like, we'll both be there, and we'll both be executing the job. And I think what we wanted to do with Blend was we wanted to have we kind of wanted to be inclusive. We wanted to make everyone feel super comfortable, and we just wanted an environment to work in that people just like had a good time. And that's kind of what we want it to be. We want it to be this production company, independent production company, but also a company that people are like, oh, I actually really like working with those guys. And
inclusive space, and
big time.
And do you mainly employ local people like living in London?
Yeah. I mean, we do, and that's the thing. I mean, because we're only small at the moment. We're small but mighty, and I think we're just trying to kind of, we have our collaborators that we work with. Yeah. And we have some people that we just love to work with, just all sorts of directors that, there's a whole list of them. And I think it's just really important just to have sometimes just have, keep your community small, but then also open up the doors to people who want to learn and stuff. I mean, I wish we had the opportunity to just be rolling out, production after production, but that's just not the way it is when you're starting up. You have to take baby steps. You have to do smaller projects, and then.
What sort of projects are on the portfolio for Blend?
Well, like we sort of, we're kind of like I said, we like doing kind of creative pieces, and I think and now we're sort of thinking, it'd be good to kind of move into maybe a commercial kind of world, but a creative commercial world. But the stuff we do is like mainly just music videos,
right?
And we kind of fell into this sort of kind of indie rock world, which is kind of cool. And then also we love doing short films, so we've done worked with some amazing people like Sophie McDonald.
Shout out Sophie. Sophie Mac.
Creating short films like Santi. And she's about to produce a documentary which is about Colombian community in Elephant and Castle. Big up Colombia.
That's Elephant Families.
Elephant Families, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So that's us really, and with the help of all of us together, and Liam being a great producer, we'll hopefully just keep going.
And I just want to highlight one word you said there, which keeps cropping up in conversations that I'm having at the minute. It's the word community and being part of something positive, and that's what you're creating with Blend Films.
Yeah. Pretty much that, man. That's we just want to. I mean, the thing is, it can be difficult. The bigger you get, like the more pressure. And money, and it is all down to you. So like, if something goes wrong, like you are to blame and responsible. So we're learning from that, man, and bit by bit we're growing through things that happen whilst creating this this company. So yeah,
that's wicked, it, man. Speaking of growth, this is when we were speaking before the show. Yeah. This next tune is something you talked about listening to from the very start.
Carbonated is basically Mount Kimby is this is from 2010. So I mean, maybe some of the I don't know, electronic heads might know this one, but it's just a tune that got me into electronic music. And I think when we were, we were getting into partying, getting into like listening to music that we thought, okay, this is kind of different. We were like, this is a tune that really stuck with me, and it still sticks with me. And it's just every 16th bar, it just like grows and grows and grows and grows, and there's a new element to the track. So cool. I don't know. People might like it, people might not. We'll see.
So we've discussed a lot today,
we have,
and I want to highlight that it can be a tough world out there in the industry that is quite saturated.
Very, yeah.
You're doing big things with the production company and in your own career, but I want to know, like, what are some of the challenges that you're facing? Like, you spoke on potential financial risk. Work's not always that regular. What are some of the distinct barriers that you're facing as an AD?
Oh man, there's quite a few, I think, when you start out, for sure. I did it in a bit of a kind of weird way. Like when I got into the film industry, I had a lot of people, I was kind of working for people as a runner, which if anyone's listening and wants to run is super important. And I think you just gain a massive knowledge about the film industry. But I felt like I wasn't able to, I didn't have many people I had a lot of like people I looked up to and loved and worked with, but I felt like because of my age I couldn't be their next up. I couldn't be their second or their third because they already had him.
Right.
So I had to move away from that and start my own little thing and do my own thing and go into music videos where it is younger and it is kind of a bit more, you are able to sort of maybe meet directors who are up and coming, and you do, I've done countless jobs for free. I've done countless like videos where I've just not been paid but dude, at the end of the day, mate, you're making connections. And somebody told me, like a big AD told me once, and he was like, oh mate, if you were getting paid what I was getting paid, I'd be skipping my way to the pub every fucking day. And it was like, and I think that was kind of like, he was like, just keep going, keep cracking on. It's not about the money now. It's about meeting people and gaining that sort of knowledge about the job. Yeah. And also at the end of the day, just meeting creatives and meeting people that will at some point call you back and be like, oh, I remember working with that guy. He was cool.
So talking community again and building
exactly.
Community.
I think it's all about the people in film. It's all about the right people. And, some people you meet that it can be, it can be a bit fishy, and but dude, like that's life, right? You just sort of, you whittle out the people that don't work for you and you work with people that you do like. and it's a community. So it's all about making friendships, being kind to each other, because you will get it back.
Like good karma, man.
Yeah, good karma, I guess.
I guess. How do you cope with criticisms in your work? Surely people can critique, jobs you've worked on, or maybe your own performance. I don't know.
I think it's a performance thing, man.
Yeah?
I think, it's sort of like, a lot of the things I do, it's difficult. Yeah, I mean, like, no one's going to be like, oh, I really hate that video, like to someone's face or something. Like, that's not a world we want to be in,
no.
like, where everyone's kind of like critiquing. And
Punching
it's not
down.
like the art world, where criticism's like ridiculously important. Like, a lot of directors and will critique themselves, man. They will just be like, I really just didn't like that, and move on. And me personally, dude, sometimes you do a job and you're like, oh man, I should have done this that way. Maybe I said that a bit too harsh. Maybe wasn't harsh enough. Maybe I didn't press this when I should have pressed that. Maybe I sort of let something slide that maybe, was actually a bit shifty. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So you critique yourself, and again, to build and to, level up and just make sure that you don't do that again. And like you said, it's a performance thing instead of a kind of like the art world, when it's like you have to take on that sort of constructive criticism.
You're just learning on the job every time.
Yeah, every single day.
And how long have you been in the industry for now, Danny?
Man, so since I was about 5 and a bit years now.
I thought you were going to say since you were 5.
Yeah, like
you've been in the industry 5 and a bit years.
Yeah, but little baby me.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Running.
Yeah, but about 5 years, man.
Sick.
So 22, kind of started getting into it and stuff. So
you can't. There's never a time where you know everything, and you're always
no, man. And I think you just never do. You never do. You just keep growing. And like I said, every single job is completely different. You're gonna have. It might be a massive job and it goes really well. It might be a tiny job and you think, oh, this is gonna be a breeze, and it's horrible. So I still get nervous going on set, man. And I think being nervous is important. So definitely it's a performance thing, dude.
Okay. Like, this is the last tune I think we'll have time for.
Yeah.
Gregory
Isaacs, man.
Night Nurse.
Yep.
What's with this
Bro,
absolute
my dad
pick.
Basically my dad's a big reggae head. And he kind of just got me into reggae, and I remember this being a track that we would listen together, and that we would just enjoy with each other, and love.
Shout out to your dad then.
Yeah, big up Michael.
So Danny, we've chatted a lot about your past in the show.
Yeah.
And before, I don't know, we kind of wrap the show up, I want to know what's coming up for Danny Rumbelow as an AD.
Well, like I said, who fucking knows? I think just keep Blend going, keep pushing, and keep the ADing going. Just more, bigger jobs. I'm just hungry. So that's it. And I think I know us at Blend are. I know the whole industry is, and we're just going to keep pushing, and keep growing the art and the trade, and keep making more fun things.
Is there a dream job on the horizon?
I've always said, I used to work with this guy who I love highly, a guy called Chris Kelly, and he does some, and I remember him talking about going to Ukraine and shooting in Ukraine, because it basically is a massive film hub in Europe.
Okay.
And bless up to everyone from there, but it's now, unfortunately it's too dangerous to shoot there. So one of my dreams was to go over there and shoot big productions there. So who knows, just my dream job would be do some huge campaign somewhere fun and somewhere nice, and that's really it, dude.
So you want to travel with work then?
Yeah, hopefully, man.
Hopefully.
I mean, the furthest I've been at the moment is Ireland. So,
okay.
So if anyone wants to take me somewhere fun, please, let's go.
Not too exotic then,
No. Well, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, mate, it was good. I had a good time. We got absolutely hammered with the locals. It was great. Yeah.
Danny, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming up.
Man, it's been an absolute pleasure being with you, dude.
You're
doing a big thing here. Lots of. It's really nice to hear.
I appreciate
how people get into things. So
To say thank you, I got you a little something.
What did you get?
Talked about being organised.
What is
Talked
it?
Talked about having. We talked about inspiration off mic. It's just a little notebook that you can have in your pocket.
My guy.
Write down all of your. I don't know, your stuff that you want to take
just
notes.
take my notes.
It's
and
got
just
a little quote in the front from one of my favourite directors at the minute, Ari Aster, talking
Wow.
about how film is therapeutic or cathartic.
Dude, this is very lovely of you, mate.
Yeah,
this
man.
is actually, wow.
Yeah,
It's touching, bro.
Yeah,
Come on.
nah, you know.
Jeez.
But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on
Man,
the show.
absolute pleasure to be here, dude.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
really lovely to be back in Liverpool.
Sweet. Well,
play it, man.
nice one. Let's
Yeah.
hit it. A little wing to fade out.
Big
And,
up.
It's been Danny Rumbelow.
This one's for the mother, bro. Up there. Let's go.
Let's go.